What is up, guys? Welcome back to Dan's Reviews, and today we're going to be doing a pretty major discussion topic video that a lot of people wanted me to do. Of course, now that we only have one episode left of Season 7, then we're on to Season 8 of The Walking Dead. Now, of course, this is viewer requested by 101, I forget his name, but 101 Mythbuster, I think, or Myth... I forget. I always have a hard time pronouncing your name. But anyway, you know who you are. You wanted me to do a video talking about how do I think they will adapt the Walking Dead comic book series. And basically what he means is how is all the seasons coming up going to... How many trade paperbacks are going to be included in one season for the next... good few at least until, we're going to talk a little bit about kind of that type of deal. So, of course, this will contain major spoilers because I'm probably going to spoil a lot of stuff. And if you didn't read the comic books, you probably won't know a lot of the stuff I'm talking about here. So I would recommend catching up to the Walking Dead comic book series, and that would be catching up to the most recent trade, which is Volume 27, of course, Whisper War trade paperback, which I reviewed a little while back, and the most recent issue that's out, which is 165. So make sure to be caught up to 165, and if you're talking about the trades, then make sure you're caught up to about here, roughly, or Volume 28. So anyway, guys, I am really, really excited to do this video. Now, one thing that really is unfortunate is that I had to tear down some of the trades. Of course, they really make a colorful background, because that looks kind of bad right now without the trades. Those right up there I didn't take down because those we've already seen in the TV series already. So, yeah. Now, of course, when it comes to Season 7, currently we're in Volume 19, which is the March to War trade paperback. And we're I think this is going to be the rest of Season 7 here, because we got a little bit left of this one, and I think this will be the finale of Season 7, because we still have a lot of stuff from this that we'll probably see in the finale of Season 7, because, of course, in Season 8, we'll be starting off with All Out War. So, now... this is the way Scott Gimple takes over The Walking Dead now. Of course, we had Frank Darabont, and we also had Glenn Mazzara. Frank Darabont was great. I loved, his, the way he ran The Walking Dead. Yeah, I think the thing about that, though, is that I think he was good, but then I think Glenn Mazzara, when they hired him, I think that was a huge mistake. Because, of course, he went through tons of the comic book series. In Season 3, he actually used the amount of 5 trade paperbacks in one season. In one season, 5 of these trade paperbacks, which are not really thick, but kind of thick. Not as thick as something like the compendiums, which those are pretty cool as well. But I kind of prefer these trades better a little bit. But All Out War is kind of its own season, but Glenn Mazzara used up tons of the Walking Dead comic series, and that's why they had to fire him. Also, because he killed off characters they didn't want him to kill, so they had to, get him out of there before. Because to be honest with you, if Glenn Mazzara was still running the show, I think we would be in the new beginning by now. I'd guarantee that, and we'd probably be caught up to the comic series at least pretty close. So, Scott Gimple, so the way he goes, it looks like to me, based on what I've seen in the last couple years, roughly, it looks like he uses about a good 3 trade paperbacks and like a quarter of the next one. That's the way I can kind of see him going. It looks like that's how much he uses per season. So it gives you just that extra quarter of the next trade paperback, just a taste of it, so you kind of know what's coming up. But with this one, All Out War, so this is going to be The Walking Dead Season 8. And you're probably thinking, well, wait, because people probably that read the comic book series know. Because Season 4, he used Volume 9, Volume 8, Volume 9, and Volume 10, and then a little bit of Volume 11. Season 5, Scott Gimple used Volume 11, Volume 12, Volume 13. And then, of course, in Season 6, and this is when it changed, because what happened here is kind of weird, because we have, he used No Way Out, Volume 14, Volume 15, We Find Ourselves, and Volume 16, A Larger World. And then he used just a little bit of Something to Fear, so they can kind of do that kind of, just a little bit of a slight taste of the next trade, if you want to call it that. So then Season 7, what we've seen so far is the rest of Something to Fear, which is up here. Of course, we also saw What Comes After, and then we saw, of course, March to War. So it's not actually even really 3 trades. He's used about 2.5 this year. So the pacing, you can tell by that, they've slowed it down this year. And when it comes to Season 8, they actually are too. Because Season 8 is going to be the all-out war season. It's only going to use these 2, because all-out war is only 2 trades. And then some people are probably going to say, well, why don't they just include a little bit of the New Beginning? You can't. You just can't. And that's one of the ones that you cannot do that, because of the fact that that has a 2-year time skip later on. And I feel like with that would push into the next season. So I feel like they'll extend All Out War, which I do not have a problem with that at all, because they'll probably make it even crazier in the TV series if they extend it. And I think that'd be great filler for that. So that's Season 8. These 2 trades. But I think because they would do the whole 3 trades per season, but I don't think they can when it comes to next year's season, because this has a 2-year time skip. So this will probably be pushed into Season 9. So then Season 9 of The Walking Dead. So we're getting pretty far now. The Season 9 would include, if they go back to the whole 3 trades, which I am predicting, it would include Volume 22, A New Beginning, which this one, if you guys, of course, read it, this one is huge. This is the time skip after All Out War. Not going to go into much detail. I've reviewed all these trades. I'll put the link in the description, actually, for my playlist of all the trade paperback reviews, so you can check this one out and some of the others here. This one is a huge game changer. Not going to explain much about this. This should be the first, probably about first half of Season 9. So, really exciting. Now, I'm kind of just setting them wherever on this little table here. So then it would also include Volume 23, Whispers into Screens, which this one has a lot of good stuff with Carl. And I really can't wait to see that in the TV series. Not much of Rick in that one, but, we see a lot of stuff with Carl, which I love. So, and I think people from the TV series will actually like Carl a lot once they see that in a couple seasons. And then finally, it'll probably include the third one, which is Life and Death. So this one is huge. You guys, seriously, this there will probably... like I said, I'm gonna spoil some things. If you guys remember, this is the issue 144 moment where we see all the heads on the spikes or whatever, and of course we do see some pretty major deaths that I will spoil. So again, spoiler warning: we see one of Rosita, which I don't know if they're gonna do that in the TV show. I don't feel like they might not. I feel like Rosita in the TV show is more of a big character than she was in the comic books. They really focus on Rosita a lot in the TV show, and I really think they might keep her alive, maybe slightly longer. So, and then we see Ezekiel, which that's a shame, because by the way they pace it, we would see Ezekiel, if they don't change it, if they keep it the same when it comes to the Ezekiel death, we would see him die in Season 9, and we saw him appear in Season 7. So that would be like, what, 2 years? Only 2 years for him? That's actually not as long as you'd think he'd last, because he's so strong, And I always wondered that. Like, why would he only last 2 seasons if they translate that to the TV show? That's kind of weird. But so maybe they won't kill him off then. Maybe they'll kill somebody else. But I almost feel that's so iconic from the comic books that they have to do that in the TV show. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like that death in the comic books is what made issue 144 insane. So, Then we also have, of course, and this season, Season 10, this season's going to be amazing. I mean... Okay, so what I would say is, I think Season 8 will probably be better than Season 7. Probably, to be honest, the best season of The Walking Dead out of those first 8. Because that is All Out War, and you guys know, if you've read the comic books, that is bananas. But I think Season 9 with the time skip will be a little bit more calmed down, right? But then with this one, Season 10, the material they're going to use for this, if they go again with the whole 3 trades, storyline, I think Season 10 is going to be probably the runner-up, like the second best season, because... So, let me just explain. So, we'll have, of course, No Turning Back. This one is amazing. We see a lot of good stuff with Rick and Negan that I'm so excited to see. I can't wait to see how Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Andrew Lincoln really interact with that stuff. And then probably, so I'm going to say probably Volume 25 and Volume 26 is probably going to be the first half of Season 10, these two. Because I think this will probably be like the first few episodes with Rick and Negan and all that stuff. And then we'll see this, which is kind of like the March to War to what the Whisper War was for you that have read the comic books. If you've read the comic books, you know what I'm talking about. And then the second half, so that would be Volume 27, which is the most recent one. So that would be the second half of Season 10. And people are going to say, why don't they just make this a whole season of Whisper War? With All Out War, that's different. That's 2 trades, so that's enough for a season. 1 trade a season, that's not enough. I think it would get to the point where All Out War or the Whisper War would kind of get boring. Unfortunately, I would say that. So I think this will be only the second half of Season 10. So what I'm saying is, I think this will be only half a season, which will probably still be a crazy half season. As good as All Out War. I don't know if it's as good, because now we're done that story arc right now from the comic books, and I would still say, personally, I think I still prefer All Out War better, but probably just because the way with the Whisper War ended. Maybe they could end it in the TV show a different way of, showing it, so maybe it's maybe a better ending. Now, Season 11, if they get this far, now, the trade... The Volume 28 trade has not been released. We're only seeing the single issues come out for that trade because we've only seen the first 3 out of 6 come out. Because if you guys know, there's 6. Once 6 of these are released, they make a trade. So there's only been 3 of these released, so we haven't gotten 28 yet. But these first here with, of course, if you guys know, the big, huge herd that attacks Alexandria, bigger than No Way Out for sure. I would definitely say that'll be probably the first few episodes of Season 11. So, okay, so now that kind of comes to a conclusion of this video. So, basically what I'm saying is, all the stuff we've had released for the TV series, or the comic series, sorry, so far, would, once we get caught up, I don't mean TV show gets caught up to where the comic book is at, but once the TV show gets to where the comic book is at, right now, the comic book will be more ahead, but what I'm saying is, once the TV show gets to where we are right now, currently, in the comic books, which is like just past this, then I would personally say I think that we'll probably be caught up to where we're at around The Walking Dead first half of Season 11. That's where we would be at. So that's just me. That's what I think. I'm really excited though to find out how they adapt all this, and especially I think if there's one thing I'm excited for the most would probably be All Out War. But if I'm talking the time skip stuff after that, I'm really excited to see how the Whisper War is dealt with, probably around Season 10. So, really excited. So yeah, guys, write your comments below. This was a huge request, so I want to do it. And yeah, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow for another video.